It's Jared, Comics League with me.
How you doing?
And today we're just shooting the shit, just chit-chatting, because we've been doing that plenty of times in the Pro Teachers Noob, so I figured, let's just do one where it's just the two of us, right?
Yep. All right, that's cool. I'm down. Let's
Yep.
do it.
Well, for one, I want to show off, I just showed Jared it before we got started, but I just now officially completed my restricted Thor collection. Because obviously, I don't have all the Thors that exist out there. No way. The one, they're not even all collected.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, for one, I am not going to ever get that Mike Diodato, Warren Ellis run. Never. No, thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about, right? The one where he's more bare-chested and everything.
Oh God. Oh God. No.
You know about that one, right?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, that was the pre-Heroes Reborn. Heroes Reborn. But no, I got from Heroes Return, starting from Dan Jurgens' run with John Romita Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Pika just pointed out you're reversed or mirrored.
I am? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I just realized, wait a minute, your thing's on the wrong side.
All right, hang on. I'll try to, fix that. Hang on.
Okay. Yeah, I hate when that happens. No? There you go. There you go. That was weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, then here's the second volume of it. So that's a good 85 issues right here.
Nice.
That includes the last 6 issues that did Thor Ragnarok. Also, because this was an epilogue to that Thor Ragnarok, you got Stormbreaker.
There you go.
Yep. I love Beta Ray Bill.
He's so cool. I wish we would get an MCU version of that.
Oh, by the way, I don't have it on me right this very second, but I do have a Walt Simonson Thor omnibus.
Nice.
I just got, literally just today, an hour ago, JMS's Thor.
Nice.
Oh, that's good to hear, Pika.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Pika's already started playing the Death and Return of Superman game.
Oh, there's a game?
You didn't know there was a beat-em-up game done by Blizzard?
Oh, wow.
For Sega and Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Oh,
it's a beat-em-up. And
wow.
It starts with the Underworlder scene, just like in the very first issue of The Death.
Oh, nice.
It's your little prelude to everything. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest, it's wonky controller, but one thing I like is you can actually hover over everything. Doesn't do you much good. You can grab guys and throw them against the wall. And when you destroy stuff in the back of the wall, it could reveal power-ups.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
But because of the fact these guys can beat you up and hurt you, and you're freaking Superman.
Yeah, I'm like normal people being able to beat up Superman. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it's a beat 'em up though, still. So
true.
But anyway, Map for Action, which includes up through Fear itself. Jason Aaron's run, the first volume first. Second volume.
Nice.
And come on. The War of the Realms omnibus.
War of the Realms was pretty dope. I love that event.
I think King in Black was better.
King in Black was way better, even though it tied in every single Marvel book, which made no sense.
Which War of the Realms technically did too.
Yeah, I know. I hate when they do that. It's like, I don't want to...
Which they didn't do it that often. They hadn't been doing it. But yeah, I also have Donny Cates' entire run and trade. And I've been collecting the issues of Al Ewing's Immortal Thor.
Nice.
So think about that. From 98 to present.
Wow. That is quite the Thor collection you got going there, Robert.
Still nothing compared to my Hulk collection I've got.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, because that one, I got all of the Peter David omnibuses. All of them. And that's a lot. That's from 87. And I got pretty much enough Hulk trades and everything that I have from... The only thing I need is the Bruce Jones and a few other things here and there, otherwise that I would have from 87 to present.
Cool.
The only other thing I need is the Mariko Tamaki She-Hulk run, because that still technically was in the Hulk.
Yeah, it still counts.
Oh, he also got runs for Revenge of the Joker, Secret of Mana, and Wolverine, Adamantium Rage!
Sweet.
So I gotta ask, with Thor, would you always agree Thor is pretty much Marvel's Superman? in its own way.
In a way, I've always said Marvel Superman in terms of character is Captain America.
Oh, duh. But sure as power.
Power is closer to Thor.
And as far as, at some points, needing a humanity anchor.
I've argued that Superman does not need a humanity anchor, but I see what you're going for.
You get what I mean, though.
Yeah.
Like, especially when it comes to Thor, he needs that. Otherwise, he's too much I'm a god, you little ants.
Well, remember, Thor was not raised on Earth.
No, I know. That's the big difference, yes. But I'm just saying, though, when it comes to with Thor, he was, obviously, that was the whole point, and that was the key thing at the end of that Ragnarok run. We find out why Odin sent him to Earth. It wasn't just to humble him. It was to break a cycle.
Okay, that
Turns
makes
out
sense.
there's been this constant cycle of Ragnarok, rebirth, and those who sit above all, these beings that are deities to the Asgardians, would be consuming the energy of Ragnarok. And thus, it finally took Thor being around humanity and going through everything he did up that point to finally be able to break the cycle by cutting the line.
That makes sense.
Of course, that would sacrifice his life. But the only reason why Thor was able to come back in JMS's run is because there has been one thing that's been disconnected since Walt Simonson's run. You know what that was?
What?
Donald Blake.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Basically, Walt Simonson had him, disconnect, lose being Donald Blake, so the transformation to stuff could be passed on to Beta Ray Bill. So after that, after the Beta Ray Bill arc, Thor was never Donald Blake again. In fact, he would try to form a secret identity as Thor, and then in his Thor form. So he would basically be more of a construction worker in Midgard.
Oh wow, that's great.
But let's be honest, that would fit him. That would fit him.
That would definitely fit.
Either a construction worker or a lumberjack. Come on, just imagine Thor wearing the plaid shirts. It's like
that's where the Avengers costume comes from.
What? Really?
They have in the Avengers game that there's costumes for Thor.
Yeah.
He's a lumberjack. That's where that comes from.
That's where that came from. Was from that. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay.
Wow.
But yeah, that's how JMS used as the back door, because Donald Blake still existed in whatever limbo he would always go to when they would swap.
That makes sense.
So he used that, had it be that Thor's hammer ended up in hell, which he used to bring back Doom as well. He killed two birds with one stone. Thor's hammer going through hell allowed Doom to escape hell because he had been dead since Mark Waid's run.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then after that, he did a story, which I love how he has Thor really just what? He brings Asgard to Earth in Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And I love it, though. You have this one guy saying, this is private property. You cannot do it. What does he do? He lifts it a couple feet above the ground.
Yeah, I love that.
Then eventually the guy who owns land says, hey, wait, like, here, you can take whatever money you want. Pull up the truck, pull up the truck.
Yeah.
Runs back and forth, fills up as much as he can into his truck without ruining the truck and of gold. But then Tony shows up. And first it's like, you got to decide. And you can still tell where JMS stood on Civil War. On the superhero registration. Because what happened? Thor reveals he ain't holding back because he is pissed at what Tony did to him. Making that clone, making Ragnarok, Thor, whatever you want to call it. And even when Tony says, like, you got to decide, you're either with the government or you're against it, he's like, you think you know it. You try and do this, I will rain destruction across your government. To which then Tony's like, okay, let's commit a compromise. After being knocked around, he said, like, okay, we'll have a compromise. Technically, you're a few feet above the ground, so that means you're not on U.S. soil. We can treat it like an embassy, an Asgardian embassy.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically saying how you have complete immunity and everything. Anyone who lives in Asgard has immunity, and it's the only way to compromise. And Thor's like, fine. Of course, next we meet, we're going to talk about this thing. Never gets resolved.
Yeah, and then we get Siege, and everything's blown up.
Which, that was the reason why JMS left Thor. He didn't want to do anything tied into Siege, because that would derail so much of what he had planned.
Siege was actually a pretty dope story for
4 issues. It was it was the breeziest of Bendis's events.
Well, I have the they don't label it an omnibus, but it's kind of an omnibus.
Oh,
whereas everything
the
that Tiny
companion and everything.
Yeah.
But think about that. 4 issues, and it's just straight through. Because normally, if we never look at Jim and Bennett's stuff, most of his events, it's the first 2 and the last 2 issues that matter.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it was 4 issues. That's all you had.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I gotta say though, I wish Norman's downfall was much more fitting.
Mm-hmm.
It felt too
Short?
easy, too short, too easy, not enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm glad Spidey got to be the one to punch him out at least.
Yeah, that was good. I loved that one.
And apparently, Bendis was going to somehow use Siege to undo one more day until Quesada found out.
How?
I don't know how. Oh, no, wait. I think I know how. Loki's, the rocks Loki was using. They were meant to manipulate reality.
God damn it, Quesada, you had to ruin it.
Yep. I mean, believe it or not, Loki, the original Loki, since Avengers #1, he died there. And he's been dead ever since. Every Loki we've had since has been a recreation of him through Kid Loki, and then eventually his mind put into Kid Loki's body. A copy of his mind.
And then wasn't that his mind put into Sif, and that's where we get female Loki?
Oh, yeah. That's where JMS first did that.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm just like, yeah, JMS is the first one to give us Lady Loki a Loki, which has been a thing ever since.
Yeah.
Although he did that more because it fit the character of it. He wasn't trying to do it for any agenda, nothing like that. It was because it was Loki hiding and trying to claim you botched things up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Although Thor thought he subconsciously did it to stick it to Loki.
Yeah, exactly.
But later, once he found out it was Sif, he was ticked off, obviously.
Well, yeah.
But again, I know I'm just gushing about Thor, but Thor's always been an interesting character that I haven't catered that much love to until now.
Mm-hmm. Thor is one of those underappreciated characters that the movies kind of helped people at least know who he is, but still, he doesn't get a lot of love.
By the way, did you know it was actually in Thor that we got Galactus' origins?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because that was around the time they decided to come out with the origins when that was the book Stan and Jack were working on together.
Mm-hmm.
So thus, it was in Thor, we found out he came from a prior universe.
Okay, that makes sense.
By the way, I am interested in what Ewing's going to be doing with Thor with this whole, they're going to change his history because Roxxon now owns Marvel, the comics in universe. Remember,
of course.
Remember, the comics have always existed in universe. To the point where Dan Slott in She-Hulk said they can be utilized as legal documents. Exactly.
Well,
So,
and they kind of, it's a blink and you mess it thing, but they kind of
did that in the show. I love that. Yeah, because they have all these comics strung out. I was like, that's what represent them as legal documents. They didn't utilize it in there, unfortunately.
So what do you think of this? So DC is rumored to be doing that Ultimate Universe, and one of the 3 creatives, in addition to Aaron Snyder, is Al Ewing on Wonder Woman.
Ooh, I would
love that.
Al Ewing coming there will be fine. I would also love him to get Hickman, but you know what ain't going to happen. No,
if Hickman got a Justice League run, I would be so happy.
Or a Legion. Have him do Legion that he was meant to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently a lot of the stuff they were doing in his X-Men was meant for Legion.
So so Legion was supposed to go to an orgy island?
Nah, not like that. First of all, the orgy island, I don't think that was Hickman himself who did the orgy island. That was the other creators.
It was in House of X Powers of 10.
Oh, you're right. But still, I gotta say though, do you think DC will hire Cates, or do you think they're gonna, after what he pulled at Marvel, even they're not gonna hire him?
I don't think they're gonna hire him. I do not think so.
Not after what he pulled at Marvel?
Mm-mm.
Not at least until he's perfectly cleaned up, I bet.
I think we're gonna see less and less of the people that were attacking that comic book store owner.
Ooh, really?
I think because here's what they don't real. Here's what they have to realize is that
DC cares more about the stores than Marvel probably does.
Yeah. So that, and you're attacking the first people that buy your books. They are your first customers. You cannot attack.
And that's the weird thing, because Cates was a comic book store owner.
Yeah. So I'm like, just because you disagree with what the person is saying do you have to personally attack the person?
And I seem to always, I recall during Dark Knight Death Metal, the whole point of what Snyder was doing with Superboy Prime was trying to acknowledge, without saying they were completely right, saying some of these fans that have complained, maybe they've had a point.
Mm-hmm.
He used Superboy Prime to acknowledge that, saying maybe they've had a point to a degree.
To a degree.
Not saying, oh, they're all right. Like, he's not saying Comicsgate was right. He was saying those who've took issue with changes or just, how the characters have been handled, maybe they had a point. Maybe we can bring... Yeah.
Which, yeah, I'm fine with that. Which, by the way, Scott Snyder, if Scott Snyder's in charge of Ultimate DC, I'm fine with that because...
That's been rumored for a while. I still remember... what's his name? He's been on Tristan's in his chat room for a while, but he's kind of gone quiet lately. I forget his name now, but he's always would pop in and delete comments after he posted them and everything.
But the thing that I think that the only reason why I brought it up and I covered it on my show is because Liefeld was talking about on his podcast that it's happening soon. And then DC announces there's this big event happening that's 30 years in the making. So I'm like...
0 Hour.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a sequel to 0 Hour.
Now, of course, Liefeld's also claiming, DC's going to be dead by the end of the year. It's like...
I don't think he's claiming they're going to be dead. I think it's saying it's going to be changed fundamentally.
No, he was one of those aiming it's going to close the door. He was one of those. I remember that's why EVS was, again, pushing.
Well, in their defense, there is a world where Warner Brothers decides, let's just license out the comics to other companies.
I really don't think so because really, I keep on saying this, DC Publishing does not make them or lose them that much money. And if they license them out, they lose creative control.
Well, here's what you got to realize is that Zaslav is the guy that he will shut stuff down if it's not profitable enough.
Fair enough. But I think he would still want to keep creative control over the books because that'll be stuff they could utilize in the movies.
True. Now, what I think with the Ultimate Universe, this is an opportunity because here's what here's what I've always said. What they could have done when they did the New 52 was make that an alternate universe. Yes. That way, everyone that doesn't like it, they have their main universe. That's why I think this is a great time to bring back a lot of stuff from the New 52 and then just say it's on this Earth.
That was what rumors were initially they were going to do with 5G at first.
Yeah, and then there was like, no, this is going to replace the universe. And everyone's like, nope, I don't want this. This sucks.
Nope.
But if they play their cards right, I think that this could be a thing that helps to revitalize DC.
I think so too, because it'll be a case of you get this jumping on point that New 52 was, but you don't alienate your audiences.
Yeah, and I've always said the thing is, you should like do stuff where you should try and like make everyone happy. That's why I hate Rebirth. That's why I get some people don't like the New 52. With this, you get the best of both worlds.
Now, if there's one downside is, given how they always have a limitation of how many titles they put out, one's going to at least temporarily get more titles than the other.
Yeah, I've always said for the start of this universe, it should be just the Trinity, Justice League, Flash, Green Lantern, and maybe Aquaman.
So mostly the Leaguers.
And you could have like backup stories with other characters and occasional one-shots.
And you might even do a story where the two can meet eventually after the first year.
Well, we theorized that what they could do, have a 5-year plan, at the very least a 5-year plan. Year 3, form the Justice League because that way you have like the characters are established who they are. You don't have to wait for them to get to like the classic versions or like a new. And that way you can build all the different years. At the end, they can tease the threat that brings the league together.
Here's what I think they should do. They should take it. I say if they do this Ultimate Universe, it should be as drastically different as New 52 Earth 2 was to classic Earth 2.
Yeah.
I think they should be more of that. Be that drastically different so we can separate it. Because you don't want to be too similar. It's kind of like what's going on with the current Ultimate Universe.
Like, let me ask you this. Would you be fine within the Ultimate Universe instead of Superman being with Lois, Superman being with Wonder Woman in this universe?
Oh, yeah. So because you still have the other Earths with him.
You still have that. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Hey, there you go. You can bring in both sides of the fandom.
Exactly. But again, that could lead because remember this: there was the danger of because originally Ultimate they were going to cancel the main line, but because Spider-Man and X were doing so well, they decided not to. But they were so close to ending the main Marvel universe and just doing it all Ultimate.
That is an issue. That pun intended. The thing about it is, I have heard that this could lead to like a reboot of the main line and a overtaking of the main line.
Exactly.
The thing about that is like if that were to happen, at the or at least what this could lead to is hard rebooting the main line. But with the main line, you could basically just keep it the same way. It's just use it to clean up the continuity.
That could work too,
Because
but again,
I've always said DC needs another hard reboot at this point.
Oof, I still argue that because that would be because again, doing a full-on hard reboot and basically getting rid of everything. Again, New 52, they got lucky there, but even then, that still led to so many issues with people. That alienated so many.
Well, if the characters acted more consistent with the way people remember them, there wouldn't be issues. There wouldn't be that many issues.
There would be to a degree, but then you have people who are going like Alan Scott. Look what happened with Alan Scott. They had to make him gay because they got rid of Obsidian and Jade. Of course, that would mean that Obsidian and Jade probably wouldn't exist in the way we knew them in that New Earth 2 because of that.
True. But that's why I'm saying you could reboot the universe, but when you restart it, essentially, you could keep it with the classic universe, but obviously clean up some continuity stuff that's been an issue for a while. You could use this to revamp characters like John or someone else to like make them more because John has been going through his own little rehab, which I appreciate, but you could jumpstart it because you can like get rid of all the stuff people hate and keep the stuff about John that people like.
Yeah, Pika makes a bit of a good point here. Either hard reboot or rewind before things got out of hand. I don't think that would have to acknowledge failure.
Which, to DC, the last time they did that was Rebirth, and arguably a lot of the stuff that they were acknowledging wasn't a failure.
Arguably, like you just said.
Arguably, yeah. My problem with Rebirth is that it cast all of the New 52 as a mistake. That was my problem.
I agree. I understand that, dude. I understand that, but at the same time, and did you know when New 52 came out, that made a lot of people think that the pre-New 52 stuff was considered a mistake. That it was a failure, so they had to start over from scratch.
Yeah, and that's the public relations thing about a reboot. But here's the thing: DC did that really because the books weren't selling that well.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard the other thing is that Warner Brothers basically gave them an ultimatum: you have to start selling more books. So they were like, reboot, revamp everything, make it. Make sense.
That was in part why 5G was considered because again, apparently before AT&T sold them off to Discovery, they were basically told, make money or we're shutting you down. That's what EVS keeps claiming. The lawyer told him and everything.
The issue with the way they did in 5G is that they did it by replacing all of the characters that you think of when you think of like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. You can't do that. You have to keep the versions of the characters that the general audience knows. It's like Superman has to be Clark Kent. And by the way, if they do this reboot, this ultimate reboot, can we not have characters share mantles? That is the dumbest thing in the world.
Flash, I think, is too ingrained.
Flash, okay.
It is too ingrained with Flash. You got to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
That goes all the way back to the first time you had Flash, and because Flash, to have the two Flashes meet it,
but they were on alternate Earths. That's the difference.
But even then, though, with Wally and Barry, that is still.
Well, okay, Flash is fine. Green Lantern, I understand because it's a unit. It's not like one guy. But we can't have two Supermen, can't have two Aquaman, can't have two Batman. It's got to be Clark, Bruce, and Arthur.
Okay, I can agree to all of those.
Flash, I get it.
Flash again, Flash, you cannot. You can't. It's too ingrained. Being a legacy, the fact that it is the only time we've had the sidekick pretty much near permanently graduate without, to his mentor's role, not some new role like Donna and Dick.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so because what do you think about it? Across all comics, Flash is the only one.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I get that, and that's what I'm saying. That is the only one where I'm like, okay, you could probably get away with that, but again, they got to, and also they got to make in the Ultimate Universe. Can we make it so like not everyone has a family? Like,
All right.
I don't want 5 Kryptonians hanging out on Metropolis.
Here's the other thing, though. How do we handle the too many Green Lanterns? Because they're all loved. They're all loved except for Simon.
You could give them different roles. Like they could have John Stewart be like the honor guardsman, which I think they did with Guy, like in the Jeff Johns run. You could have 2 be the main ones for Earth. Okay, so Hal and Kyle can be the ones for Earth. That way they can show up in Justin.
Jessica and John, yep.
Jessica and John can be the space patrol that they actually patrol the entire sector. That
and Guy's the rogue. Guy's the rogue.
Yeah, Guy's the rogue.
You can bring back Warrior. He can be Warrior when he's not wearing the lantern ring.
Hey, there you go. That was a controversial.
Oh boy! Remember when he became a chick for an issue?
What?
There was an issue. Hold on.
Oh God. Wow.
There was an issue where his Warrior jeans turned him into a chick.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. And this is still done by I'm trying to remember the writer's name.
It wasn't Garth, was it?
No. Bo Smith. One of the man's men. You ever seen him? He is a man's man.
Yeah, all right. There you go.
Hold on. I got the image here. Hold on. Guy Gardner. Here we go.
Oh God.
Yep, he turned into a chick for an issue.
Wow, that is
that actually happened. And no, Guy wasn't like, ooh, look, I got boobies.
Mm-hmm.
He just freaked out. Yeah, because it basically dealt with the he's Gal Gardner.
Gal Gardner. Wow. That is great. Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't last long. He's eventually turned back into the guy by the end, before the issue even ends.
Of course. Nothing lasts forever in comics.
Yeah, it was just done in one, to have a cliffhanger moment and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, it was a way to chalk up readers for an issue.
Yeah, there you go. You're trying to get that image crowd.
Yeah, that was the thing with the 90s, actually, where you would have a lot of time where you would have these twist cliffhangers just to try and keep people reading.
Mm-hmm. And you also radically change characters like Electric Blue Superman.
Oh yeah. Although you want to know why David Michelini got kicked off the Superman books? It's because he admitted in an interview, this isn't going to last forever. He was being honest, but that was what he was pretty much leaking the point of the plot of the story, and it was right as everything was starting.
Mm-hmm.
So in trying to calm people down, he pretty much spoiled things.
Wow, I see.
At least that's what I've heard. Anyway, that's what I've heard. That's what led to it. But wait, is that a bulge down there?
Yeah, with Guy probably. Jeez.
Possibly, probably not. But hey, so we were bringing up about He-Man. That's also in the thumbnail. When it comes to He-Man, you saw the first episode of Revolution. What was your take on Revelation as a whole?
Revelation, I didn't hate it as much as everyone else did.
I didn't either.
I got the point of it. It's showing the effect of He-Man on
World Without a He-Man.
Yeah, World Without a He-Man. It's kind of like, because a lot of people complain the Snyder Cut, how Superman doesn't show up until halfway. And I'm like, actually, his effect on the world is throughout the entire movie. So I understood
Same with this. And also, and not only is it though, but okay, let's be honest. Everyone had a whole year to be conditioned to hate this series. A whole year of looking at those leaks, of which, let's be honest, this is a case of someone took the leaks and then twisted it for an agenda. Because everything there, when you look at what actually happened, it doesn't add up.
No, nothing that was advanced.
But because it took a whole year, one whole year since the leaks, everyone was assigned to hate it. That's why they've been doing the mental gymnastics.
I will say, I've been seeing a lot of people saying this is way better than Revelation, and I agree.
Yep.
It's so far it's better.
And you know what? The other reason why I defend it, it's pretty much loosely based off, influenced by the DC He-Man run that
There you
Rob
go.
David worked on.
There you go.
I mean, look at so much of it. Right down to having Keldor now in Revolution now. Right down to, okay, I don't want to spoil the end, but there is someone who is teased in the cliffhanger. Yep, this is not the finale.
Okay, I was wondering about that because I was like, is this another part 1, part 2 situation?
Well, I think it's less part 1, part 2, and more like this is the all complete story here. I say there's another 5 in the works. Who knows if it's going to come out yet? But I think they learned their lesson.
Yeah, don't tell us this is gonna be a part 1 or part 2.
Well, no, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be its own separate thing leading into another 5 episodes that'll be out. But it's going to tell its own story that continues from where this ends, as opposed to, because let's be honest, I think everyone can agree, some of these people would have shut the F up if they released all 10 episodes at once.
Yeah,
and would have debunked
the full story.
As opposed to those first 5, which unfortunately confirmed a lot of the fears.
Yeah, it made people think, oh yeah, He-Man's barely in this. And then it's like,
actually, and then Kevin had to open his mouth and claim, oh, I killed him twice. You didn't kill him twice.
Yeah.
But in fair, he didn't want to leak that Adam would survive leading into that.
Well, you had to.
He's trolling. He was trolling, but he shouldn't have trolled.
Anyone that thought that they were going to kill off He-Man when in the trailer there was He-Man footage that hadn't shown up yet.
Yeah, especially him. It was the barbarian He-Man.
Yeah, the barbarian He-Man shows up in early trailers before even part 1 came out. So I'm like, if you really thought they were gonna kill He-Man, I'm sorry, dude. There's something up here.
These guys are now. Was Tila written as a Mondo bitch? Yes.
But here's the thing: it makes sense for her arc.
Oh yeah, but I think they still want. I think Sarah Michelle Gellar acted too much like a hardcore bitch.
Yeah, that's
there was
why,
the voice acting.
That's why when I was watching episode 1 today, I DM'd Robert and I'm like, I like
Melissa Bonet.
a lot more.
That's Chris Adams' wife, Melissa Bonet, Supergirl.
I think I think
the chemistry was better. There was no chemistry with him and Sarah.
No, I think if Melissa had been playing her in Revelation, there would have been less of an uproar.
And I think the cast change proves also this was not in the original contract. The original contract was just for Revelations, and they ended on a cliffhanger just in case. The fact that you had 2 cast changes, her and Gates McFadden taking over for Alicia Silverstone as Marlena, showed that they weren't contracted in. And they would have kept the cast.
Yeah.
Because I hear people say that's like, no, why would they do a cast change if this contract started, it's just continuing from Revelation? It wouldn't.
They could have bought her out of the contract.
They could have, but I think the more likely thing is she wasn't available, and when they did the second contract. But yeah, just I enjoyed Revelations because for the most part, there are still stuff I have some issue with. Evil Lynn, her getting the sword and everything.
Yeah, I was like, that I don't like. And her character design, when she actually calls down the power, I was like, no.
Oh, yeah, she was too bulked up.
Yeah, she was too He-Man.
That was She-Man. That was She-Man.
If they had pointed to Evil Lynn, you would have been like, okay, fair.
But everyone, when they kept pointing on Tila, it's like, Tila doesn't become the sorceress. What are you guys, idiots? The fact you're actually believing this tells me you don't know the lore.
The entire point of her character has become the sorceress.
Yeah, that tells me they did not know the lore whatsoever. To be fair, though, that part of the lore was never brought up in the 80s cartoon. So if they ever watched the 80s cartoon, that's all they know. That's rose-tinted glasses up the ass.
A lot of people only watch the 80s cartoon.
Which, yeah, that's everyone saying, oh, they wimpified him. No, you do know that him being bulked up, even as Prince Adam, was never meant to be canon. It was because of the limited animation of filmation and the limited moldings. It was much better to have used the same molding in the toy between Adam and He-Man than it was to have 2 separate ones in the 80s.
Yeah.
It was always meant to be Shazam. It was meant to be Shazam.
The only other exposure I have for He-Man was the 2003 cartoon.
Yeah, and that had it.
Dope.
That had it. That had the Shazam differences. Because in that one, you also had 2 different voice actors.
Yeah, and that was actually a really good way to do it.
Yeah, Cam Clark as He-Man, which it's funny enough, Cam Clark's gay, and what is given all the homoerotic subtext people give to He-Man.
Yeah.
I always find that kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. I always thought that would be a pretty kick-ass crossover, He-Man and Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah. Oh, he had Conan and Wonder Woman, one of the best.
That was great. I love that book so much.
One of Gail's best writing books was that.
I like the fake out that they make you think, oh yeah, this is a world where Wonder Woman exists in the Conan world, but then at the end of it was like, no, it's not
it's
that.
Just someone completely different.
But I'm like, okay, I kind of like this. This is really cool.
Yeah. But still though, with He-Man, I thought Skeletor, Mark Hamill nailed it.
Yes.
He was so challenging Alan Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do think he was a little too subdued in it. You know what I mean? It felt like he was a little too restrained. Whereas him currently in Revolution, he is really cutting loose.
Yeah. I like that one.
What do you think of Keith David as Hordak?
Yes. I'm like, yes. I like that because Keith David's one of those voice actors that has that voice that you could play like a pretty kick-ass.
Now
villain.
I'm still so used to Hordak being like, never fear, Master. I love that snort. But and hey, he's now up there with Kevin Conroy, who voiced Hordak in the CGI show.
There you go.
Rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
I got one other thing I like about Revolution is the cast is much more limited.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. You want to know another example I've had to deal with arguing with people about them trying to do mental gymnastics to say Clownfish was right? Oh, him and Tila and what was her name?
Oh yeah. The whole thing where
it appeared that way. Appeared is different than actually being.
You're behaving like the shippers that everyone's annoyed at.
Exactly. Now, granted, I mean, could you say there was some queer undertones? Possibly, and the animators could have slipped in.
You could interpret it. That's fine. But
that's not what actually was doing, because she was still having the hots for Adam. She just kept denying it.
She was clear, and even in the first episode, they're clearly showing that. So I'm like,
it's a key part of the plot.
Yeah. So I'm like, and plus, that's what I always thought the plot was. It was Tila and Adam.
By the way, you want to know what other voice actor is going to have? What other actor is going to have an appearance in the next episode?
Who?
John Delancey.
Oh, really? As who?
He's a dragon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I saw part of that. I'm in the middle of part two. So
yeah. That's John Delancey.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a while, but I'm like, oh, that's so him. Once eventually you hear it in his voice, you're like, oh, that's Delancey.
Yeah. It was one of those voices where I'm like, where have I heard that before? That makes sense.
Yeah, it's Delancey. I seriously, Delancey's always deliciously evil in roles like this. But come on, ever since Q, ever since Mon Capitan, we meet again.
Mm-hmm.
But again, with He-Man is such an interesting character because it's it's Shazam. It's almost like Shazam, but you more emphasize the differences between the two.
It's a little bit more like Shazam if Shazam was like Superman.
Yeah, but I'm saying but especially when you're emphasizing, it's the difference between being like, especially in Revolution, being a champion or being a king.
Yeah.
Or being a prince in the normal case of the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like that, which is funny. You want to know what happened in He-Man Thundercats?
What?
This is when DC owned them. There was a point where now Skeletor and Mumra have merged into Mummator. So they're one being. Oh, it's awesome. Okay. They grabbed this orb of power from Castle Grayskull's heart, the heart of Castle Grayskull. They start jumping around the multiverse. They eventually go to when Adam and Lion hold on to it. Adam, for some reason, thinks about being on Earth because that's where his mom's from. Mm-hmm. He's basically on it where he's Superman, where you have Lois calling him Eterniaville and all that. and he works at the Daily Planet, and Jimmy's there with him, and then there's a point where they see Mummator out there, and he's like, rips open his shirt and everything, and it looks like the He-Man design, but it's in the Superman colors. And of course, He-Man and Lion are like, let's get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, and then there's another. Then they go to one where it's a world where, because they were both holding on to the orb, they go to a world where it's both properties combined together.
Wow, of course.
Yep, you get Chatila and Yeah, things like, and it's all drawn by Freddie E. Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible artist, isn't he?
Your crossover for He-Man that I really thought was really badass is He-Man Injustice.
Oh, that was great. And it's pretty
he
much
became Shazam.
Oh yeah, but in the fact it pretty much gives a finality, a closure to the Superman ending.
Yeah, exactly. It's like no, I took it as they're saying the Superman ending is canon.
No, I don't think so. I'm thinking more like both are canon. I think it is meant to say the Batman ending is going to be the canon of the third game.
If they make a third game,
I think they will. I truly think they. Hold on, let me. I'm going to show you that with them in the DC world because it is.
All right.
You're gonna crack up.
Let's go. I love that. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done a He-Man Wonder Woman crossover. It looks like it would fit perfectly.
Dark Horse has the rights now.
Oh, okay.
See, look.
Oh
great
my
photos,
gosh.
Jim. Gosh, thanks, Adam. Hey, attorney bill. I'm not buying that mild mannered.
Oh my gosh.
And look.
Wow.
I was like, well, my mother's from Earth. I always wonder what my life I've been like. This looks like a job for. Yeah, let's get out of here. But then look, here's the other one.
My God, that's great.
Look, Snarfo.
Oh, wow.
And I love it. It's like, maybe holding the orb together wasn't such a good idea. Not good at all. I just love how they're weirded out by both of these. They're just like, But yeah, but just,
that is just so good.
Even that, his name's Adam Greyskull.
Oh, God, that's not like...
Greyskull, what are you still doing here?
I love that. The other one that I liked was Justice League He-Man, the one that was taking place in the new 52.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, before he passed away, I actually did talk to Keith Giffen about that. Mm-hmm. It's not the main Earth. It was a variation on the main Earth, so they didn't have to worry about it fitting in the continuity and everything.
Okay,
that's why you have some characters that still didn't exist, like Black Mary or whatever her name was, or things like that.
They kept the stuff I care about, like Superman, Wonder Woman, and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
But basically, he just, and Pika made a good point here. If they make an Injustice 3, it better be closing out the circle of the story and not doubling down to make him worse. Yeah, because that was my problem with Injustice 2.
Yeah, that was my problem too, dude. Because
they pretty much imply he was always this evil, he just needed an excuse.
Yeah, and here's my problem with the plot of the game. So this whole game, when you break out Superman, they basically, from that point on, they kind of start to like hint that maybe Superman's turning good again. Maybe they basically they tease that. Then when it gets to the end, it's like, nah, I'm gonna kill Brainiac. I'm like, what? And
take over everything. Basically, he just want. And again, the way he manipulated Kara was horrible. He didn't care about her as a cousin. He cared about her as a weapon.
This is one of my many problems with Injustice as a franchise. And I'll say this.
I think Tom Taylor was trying to work with Injustice 2 when he did Year Zero. Because Year Zero definitely implied this was always there.
Yeah, and this is my problem with Injustice.
No, he's working with what NetherRealms gave him. And let's be honest, the main reason why Injustice 1 worked, because you have Palmiotti and Justin Gray involved on the writing team on that one.
Yeah.
Then they did their own thing. They decided to write it in-house without them for the sequel.
But what would have been cool is if like the plot of two ends with him like redeeming himself, or at least turning back to being good-ish.
Except let's be honest,
Injustice 3 is the plot of him getting redemption.
Let's be honest though, Ed Boon loves Batman just as much as he loves Scorpion.
Yeah, I know.
That's the reason why. He loves Batman. Batman means to be the ultimate good. Remember, this was the case where, and again, I'm pretty sure Tom Taylor was just working with what he was told, a word where Batman basically said, "How dare you kill parademons?"
And I'm like, have you seen any movie where Batman fights parademons? He murders them.
Exactly. Again, I'm pretty sure Taylor was told to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That is not.
I wish it didn't do that because that would have been a great story.
That completely, even DB Tropes always says that completely is a strike against Batman.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a strike against Batman because here's my
Everyone
problem.
knows that parademons are mindless.
Yeah, and here's my problem with Batman and Injustice. So up until Ollie dies, what
Mm-hmm.
Batman could have done if Batman had been a friend to Clark, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
Clark would have fallen. But instead, he kills one person up until that point. He kills
Who deserved it?
who deserved it. I'm saying from year one, because year one ends with the death of Ollie. In that time period, he could have gone to Clark and say, "Listen, dude, I know you're hurting. I've been there. I'll help you through this." He wouldn't have gone through this rapid decline.
Exactly. Which I think maybe deep down that's part of what Taylor was trying to imply with John giving him a hug and everything. I think,
but it's too late at that point. I'm saying the point is before he started murdering like Shazam and everyone.
Well, he killed Shazam in the game, though. Let's be honest.
No, but I'm just saying you could have stopped him from becoming a dictator and all that stuff.
Oh, can we agree to this, though? Can we agree to this, though? That Injustice the movie was worse.
No, I think Injustice the movie was better because the characters act consistently with how they actually should be.
I'm saying that's an adaptation.
As an adaptation, yeah, it sucks. But as a version of Injustice, that the story itself is better than the games, I think.
Okay, fair enough. But the fact that it's meant to be an adaptation, but it decides to do its own thing and completely derail it all, it's like...
Well, here's my thing about it. Wonder Woman actually acts consistently.
That's true. Oh, boy. Again, this is a case where Taylor is just... He's working with what he's given.
But the thing is, with the evil Wonder Woman thing, it doesn't make sense because here's the thing. So
He tried.
The problem with that is, okay, so Wonder Woman, so it's the origin of Wonder Woman. She finds out Steve Trevor's a German spy. I'm saying that because I don't know the YouTube rules about that certain word. So she distrusts people. Then she leaves, joins the JSA first, and then JLA, fights with the greatest people she has ever known, and she still wants to subjugate man's world. That makes no sense.
Agreed. That makes no sense.
That's my problem with it. And the problem is, then you have too many people that are like, oh, if Superman is not with Lois, it leads to injustice. And I'm like, no, there are a couple of other steps.
Even I will not agree with that. It might. I'll say this: if he's not with, as Kingdom Come showed, if circumstances lead to Lois dying, he's more likely to give up being Clark Kent. And look at what happened in Kingdom Come. Kingdom Come was also a case of him going too far.
And Wonder Woman gave him back the glasses and said, "Be Clark Kent."
But remember, she was going too far too.
No, and that was the point of Injustice of Kingdom Come. It's like all the superheroes either went too far or didn't do their job, so they learned a lesson throughout that.
Well, funny enough, Batman was the only one properly doing his job.
Yeah, but Batman would be Batman.
One sec.
It's all good. So, yeah, and that's the problem. But while Robert's on the phone, I'll tell you that was my problem with it. It just didn't make any sense.
Sorry about that. Just had a quick phone call. My dad wanted me to get dinner. I'm like, I'll do it when I'm done streaming.
Yeah, but that's my issue. It's like too many people.
Kingdom Come is basically Injustice, but they actually realize their plot. Basically, let me put it this way: Injustice is Kingdom Come, but they have to stretch out because of the franchise.
Yeah, and here's the problem with that is like, and I'm like, okay, the problem with it is that to a degree, Injustice started the whole evil Superman trope.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which I hate. It's been overdone so many times.
Actual evil Superman. One could say Irredeemable is the one who got the ball rolling there.
Yeah, but my problem is that a lot of people treat it like...
this is awesome Superman. This is Superman we wanted.
Or it's like, if Superman is with Wonder Woman under any circumstances, this is the result. And I'm like,
no. This is a horrible Wonder Woman.
This is not Wonder Woman. This is not Wonder Woman.
And I don't get why the Amazonian sisters keep working with her.
I don't know why either.
Are they just as bloodthirsty?
I don't understand. This just doesn't work.
Now, to be fair, some of these problems were in the first game, just not as... Because you had the main DC world, it wasn't as exemplified.
Yeah, because you had the other characters to
compare.
show off. But I'm like, again,
Like Arthur being a coward. I'm sorry. Arthur being such a coward, he's just giving everything to. I love Phil Lamar's Aquaman. I love, especially that bit when he's reading the treaty and he's like, "Wait, what is this?"
Yeah, I know.
That was one of my favorite moments in Injustice 1. Was him showing like, "I am the king. You listen to me."
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, yeah. First off,
that's my favorite Aquaman. I mean, handling of him. Being like, "I'm king. You listen to me." That was the awesome Peter David's Aquaman.
Well, here's the thing. I get story-wise, I understand why Arthur in Injustice was like bowing to Superman, because Superman lifted up Atlantis and put it in the desert. He's basically saying, "Play ball, or I'll do this and leave it there."
No, I get that. But it took him that many years to come up with the treaty.
Yeah, I know, but again, even that doesn't make sense, because as far as we know, at that point, reading that issue for the first time, this is the regular Superman. So I'm like, why would he do that?
Exactly. So they already were going down that route.
Yeah, that's why if they had established that this was a more brutal Superman earlier, I would have believed more of the stuff.
But we didn't see that.
I know. If they did, it would have made a lot more sense. And that's my. Yeah, go ahead.
I was like, going back to Injustice Master of the Universe, one of my favorite scenes, which was a homage to All-Star Superman. That one girl is ready to commit suicide because she's so tired of her self-destructive thoughts causing trouble for her friends and family. And Adam catches her, and she's like, no, I timed it out. I timed this all out and everything. And he just, after saving her life, gives her the inspirational speech.
Yeah, that works.
And then she ends up taking the power of Shazam by the end. But that tells you how far Superman got.
Yeah, I'm just like...
Well, that and also having Copper just completely murder Freddy. And they're all right with it.
I love how many superheroes... I love how Flash is the only one that was like, this is kind of messed up.
Yeah. And apparently Cyborg changed sides, which I felt was a little shoehorned.
It was.
It's like, wait, why is he turning around now? Which, seriously, wow, why did they have to make Cyborg such an ass?
I really don't get it.
And also the fact that you have a Superman. He's showing a world where things are fine. You know what I mean? Where his where you can see where Lois the buyback, but then something else kills her.
Or like, here's the issue: is like when Superman's like, okay, so when he finds out there's like a more when good Superman confronts him and he's like, I'll bring Lois here and she'll love it, and then I'm like, did you really not know Lois Lane?
Exactly. Which again, going back to Superman Year Zero, I don't think he did.
No, he didn't. This is coming from someone that absolutely hates Lois Lane. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not going to work.
It's not going to work at all.
She's intolerable to me, don't get me wrong, but she's not going to endorse a dictatorship.
No, she wouldn't. I think my guess is he became so delusional with it that he thought that, and he's convinced himself the only one of the things that kept him going forward is that Lois would approve. Lois would approve because she's not there to tell him otherwise.
It just, I'm just like, what?
And today, I'm also, even you got me, Diana being basically Superman's simp because she wants to be the rebound girl.
Again, another horrible depiction of Super Wonder, and I'm like, what the heck?
I mean, at least in this crisis stuff, I'm assuming years passed between Lois's death and them getting 100%. Together. That's not rebound; it's more natural.
Yeah, that's what I.
Much like Kingdom Come. Enough years have passed.
And I have talked about that, and we're like, probably what happened is that she died of old age. Clark mourned for her. Diana was there as a friend, and then they drifted together.
Yeah, much like Kingdom Come.
Much like Kingdom Come, exactly.
Of course, in Kingdom Come case, both cross over their hurdles.
Yeah, both go through a massive character arc of like self-discovery and all that stuff, which I was fine with.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like I said, I gotta say, I think Injustice is Frank Miller's Superman it turned up to 11.
It's Frank Miller's Superman if he didn't respect Superman.
And Wonder Woman.
Because here's the thing.
Wonder Woman, you can make an argument. It's almost like New 52 Amazons, but more fitting into the pre-New 52 version.
Kind of.
This man-hating, you know.
It's mythologically accurate though.
But some people don't. Many people don't want that.
But if Wonder Woman is based on mythology, there is a certain idea of that.
True. Oh, by the way, did you know there was originally going to be a He-Man Ninja Turtles crossover that would have been the follow-up?
What?
Yep.
That would have been great.
That would have been the actual follow-up to Injustice Masters of the Universe.
That would have been so good.
But things ran out, and eventually Dark Horse got the rights.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what I read that it's a crossover that I really dug is Godzilla Power Rangers?
Oh, they're coming up with the follow-up. The first one was so good. And also, Power Rangers Ninja Turtles 2 was Dan Moore's artwork, for one. Incredibly, he made Rita damn sexy.
Just Dan Moore's art on anything.
Oh, and again, the guy is stupid fast, but not losing his quality.
He can produce that fast. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on, I'm gonna try and find it because I want to show you that one. Power Rangers. Yeah, hold on. Power Rangers. Oh, Justice League Power Rangers again with Tom Taylor. That was a good one.
That was a really good one too.
Yep. Okay, come on. Hold on, come on. Where is it? Power Rangers Ninja Turtles. There we go. Okay, here we go. Because, like I said, Rita is just so under Dan Mora. You're just like, hello, and he gave her a complete redesign.
Yeah, it's just Dan Moore. It's like the first time I saw Dan Moore's art.
Shredders. One of the best shredders as well.
Yeah, the first time I saw Dan Mora's art was when he did all the promotional stuff for Dawn of DC, and I was like, wow.
Oh, you don't see, it's not in this issue, it's in the second issue. Hold on.
Yeah, but I remember I was when they had that little banner that has all the oh wow.
See what I mean?
That's a kick-ass Rita design.
She looks hot, doesn't she?
Wow.
Oh, there's Krang.
Dan frickin' Mora.
Yep.
For the win.
Oh, there's Mora was her.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then hold on, let me find Shredder, because Shredder, it's one of the best Shredder design. In fact, one thing I love about there it is. And get a Shredder here is written like if you combine 80 Shredder with 2012 Shredder.
Mm-hmm.
Not 2000, and a hint of 2003 Shredder. Because basically, he has a lot of the backstory. Him being a scientist. Him being the creator of, the Turtles with the mutagen. But he has the sinister edge of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what if 80 Shredder was competent?
Mm-hmm. I love that.
But yeah, you have that. And then the Godzilla one was, again, now that's Freddie E. Williams doing it. So on.
Which I loved. I love where they kind of team up with Godzilla, but then they're like, let's get the hell out of here.
Well, that's at the very end, yeah. But the fact you have Godzilla, just take down Dragon Zord, no problem.
Yeah. I'm like, someone's obviously a Godzilla fan.
Yep. There's traditional Rita here.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Monarch is really good.
Oh, it is. And I gotta say, I cannot wait for Godzilla X Kong. There we go. Look at that.
Hell yes.
And Freddie E. Williams again. He is the crossover god. Batman Ninja Turtles. Those He-Man crossovers. And then this.
Mm-hmm. And the art is so cool with all the Rangers kind of glowing with the energy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And in fact, having Rita team up with the Planet X aliens.
Mm-hmm.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, just look at that right there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I am definitely looking forward to the new Godzilla Kong movie because it's like they're teaming up against
an original villain.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is really cool.
Yeah, and now, you know what thing I still want to see them do a crossover one day if Legendary could get the rights to it?
What?
Gamera.
Okay, I see.
I think everyone still wants Godzilla Gamera.
What do you think of Godzilla Justice League?
Ooh, you mean the current stuff going on?
Yeah, the current stuff.
I like it, but I don't like how there are people are saying now Godzilla killed Superman when the context is not even that.
I don't like how easily he took down Superman.
But to be fair, Superman was left wide open.
But he's Superman.
True, but keep in mind how deadly that thermonuclear breath is.
But Superman has been in thermonuclear reactors.
But it's different than a reactor. That just because it's thermonuclear like a reactor, look at the stuff it's been able to do to other monsters. Monsters who can tank normal weaponry.
True. I do like what they do with Jason, where he's like, I'm going to take the shot. And then Batman's like, don't take the shot. Don't take the shot. He's like, I'm doing it.
It's typical Jason.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
Yep, but have you ever read the Power Rangers Justice League crossover?
I did, yes. It's really good.
Very good. Again, very good from Tom Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Who's the artist on that?
Oh, Stefan Byrne, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, but I love how he actually makes Alpha a badass at the end.
My one complaint is that I wish they gave the Justice League morphers at one point.
I think, given how they still set up a sequel, they might one day do it.
That would be really cool. I like Brainiac Cyborg. That's really cool.
And Brainiac was Zed was so logical. It made so much sense.
Yes, exactly.
I especially loved when I love how they actually call out Zed, saying how it takes some time adjusting, doesn't it? Suddenly having limbs that weigh more than buildings.
Yeah.
Zed's never done that. In fact, I love it. Brainiac captured him, made him small. What did he do? He uses his growth bomb to get out.
I love when the Power Rangers first meet the Justice League and Superman's tapping on the pterodactyl's viewport, and he's like, "I'm gonna need you to pull this pterodactyl over."
Hold on, let me go to that.
Yeah, that's such a cool moment.
Yep. Oh. No,
I love that.
I'm gonna ask you to land your pterodactyl.
I love that. That's so good.
Yep, and I also love with Wonder Woman, like I'm not. Trust me, I did a pretty intense conversation.
With the lasso.
and that's New 52 Wonder Woman's outfit.
No, it's not. That's Rebirth.
Sorry, you're right. Rebirth. My mistake.
Because this is coming out at the time of.
You're right. I forgot. You're right. I forgot, man. I forgot.
Yeah, there you go.
I admit I forgot, but again, this was a great crossover.
So good. I like that Brainiac design too.
Well, that's pretty much pre-New 52 Brainiac.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the design for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League?
Oh, that's an interesting Brainiac. I've seen very different one. It seems a little closer to Injustice Brainiac a little.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I am still excited for that game. I think it's going to be fun.
I am too. Anyone who's complaining about it, it's like, it's more of a more complaint either just because they have this hatred for just being alive, a
live service, or it's not another Arkham Batman.
Exactly. Those are the two main reasons.
Yeah.
It boils down to. Everyone keeps on complaining about the story. The story's been debunked, guys.
Yeah. I do love, there's like some screenshots of like people play the alpha and they say like, if you look around occasionally, you'll see Batman watching you. And I'm like, oh, that's so badass.
That's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can also understand why they're not going with Mark Hamill as Joker. There's rumors that it's Nolan North because it sounds a lot like his Deadpool.
Yeah, I can. Well, the Mark Hamill one's dead, so they can't. So it brings it back and be like.
And I also like it. Their reason it's like this is a completely different Joker because really, this is the only way you can have a Joker that would join the squad happily.
Yeah, he's been on the squad before.
In his world.
Yeah.
What do you think about them using the multiverse to do it? Basically, like. You're basically taking Superman, Doom, and Brainiac.
Well, what I
mixed with Convergence Brainiac.
You could. That's an interesting way to put it. What I'm more interested in, I don't think that the Justice League members we fight are the actual Justice League. I think it's more of clones, and Brainiac is holding the real League on the
Crime Syndicate.
Or Crime Syndicate. That's what I said.
That could explain why Batman's using guns.
Yeah, exactly. It could be just a crime syndicate dressed to look like the Justice League.
Could be, but it's just as equally viable that it's Brainiac just doing chemical imbalances in their brain.
Or like cloning them, because if you look at the roadmap screenshot for season 1, it shows like two new boss battles, and it's Superman and Green Lantern, but they very clearly have Brainiac tech on them.
Yep.
So I'm like, I think we're fighting clones.
That could very well be it. That could very well be it, but who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So apparently the achievements have leaked.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I haven't looked them up yet.
I do love Wonder Woman Twitter has been freaking out because they used the Zeus origin for Wonder Woman in this.
Get used to it, people.
That's the one that they're gonna use. Get used to it. They're not going back to the Made of Clay.
The only time most recent they've used it was for DC Ruby, and that's because it was about fairy tales, about stories.
It makes sense there, but when you realize when they're making a game or a movie, they're going for as general an audience as possible, and the general audience is going to be able to grasp the Zeus origin more than the Clay origin.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, one of the few things Jeff Johns got right.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because that was his idea.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, to be fair, Grant Morrison came up with a similar idea in his Earth One, except it was Hercules.
Which that's a little worse. I don't like the Hercules one.
I don't either. I'll be honest. The only thing I like about that Earth One Wonder Woman story was basically it fully realized what Wortham wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not Wortham. Marsden.
Yeah. Which I'm like, okay.
Marsden.
But there was a lot of weird. I love when they try to make us think in Multiversity that all the Earth One books are on Earth One.
I think that was the plan. That was the plan originally.
Yeah, but when you look at like the Morrison Wonder Woman book, there's no way that's in the same Earth.
I look at it as a point of divergence. I think the first volume is canon with Earth One.
Yeah,
but then the other two are not.
Yeah, it's. The only ones that could possibly line up are Superman and Batman, because even Green Lantern takes place in like the futuristic future.
Which we're never going to get volume 3.
Which I'm sad because I like that one.
Can I tell you why?
Why?
They broke up. Their husband and wife team, and Gabriel Hardman is done with mainstream comics.
Oh,
he did a bet. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
They worked so hard in the first two. He's not going to finish the third one.
Which I'm sad because I really like that Earth One series. That and Superman are my favorites.
I think Batman's my favorite. Because I'll say this: Wonder Woman had too much of a finality to its ending.
Yeah,
way too finality. Superman is way too open-ended.
Mm-hmm.
Batman gave you an ending, but wiggle room for an open, to continue on.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like Jeff Johns told the story he wanted to tell, but he didn't close the door on it.
Yeah, but with like Grant Morrison, it's like women take over the world, and I'm like,
oh boy, don't give it. Then again, even Yannick Paquette said, "Grant and I don't believe in the politics of the story."
And that's great. I respect the hell out of that because like you tell the story that you put in what fits for the story. You don't have to agree with it. You just know what fits for the character and the story.
Which is why Yannick said he always found it laughable when people say, "Oh, this is your politics." It's like, no, this is the story we just wanted to tell.
Yeah, because realistically, that is an interesting.
Saying women do no wrong.
Yeah.
Which when I went over with Tristan, it was like, oh yeah, sure. So Hillary Clinton and all the other of the world and all that stuff are pure saints. No, they're not.
There's a world politics like a paradigm or way of thinking, ironically called feminism, which is the idea that if more women were world leaders, there'd be more peace.
No.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
I'm pretty sure Marsden believed that.
My professor in college went, "Have you met women?"
Yeah, pretty much like, have you met women? They are some of the most vindictive bitches.
Yes,
to each other especially.
Yeah, so if anything, it would make war when you think about it.
Yeah, they probably commit war over being jilted.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, yeah, we've been all over the map. That's the whole point of these streets. But getting back to with Thor for a second, I gotta ask you, Batman versus Thor. When we say about Thor, doesn't have that much exploitable weaknesses.
does he have the Donald Blake vulnerability?
But you remember then, you got to get the hammer away from a certain amount of time.
I think Batman could figure out a way to get the hammer away.
But if he doesn't have the weakness, the
Does
enchantment,
he have access to the Justice Buster or Hellbat suits?
neither. And he's just there, like Death Battle rules, just there on, without access to it. So theoretically, he could get the Hellbat. The Hellbat might be able to give him some, but remember this, Thor would also have access to his full power.
Yeah, I gotta go with Thor on this one. Now, if it's Thor versus Wonder Woman, it's Wonder Woman.
That was one thing you agree with Death Battle on, right?
I will agree with Death Battle on that wholeheartedly.
Although I did not care for them saying he could get lost to his bloodlust. Now, if this is Thor without the Odin Force, yes. If he had the Odin Force, I think even Wonder Woman would have a hard time.
Hard time, but still win.
Potentially, yes.
Because this is the daughter of Zeus one, this is the god of lightning.
But you also have... Oh, God. Can I tell you one thing I always hate about Marvel versus DC? Not JLA Avengers. Marvel versus DC. The implication that Wonder Woman needed Thor's hammer to beat Storm.
Or like Storm beating Wonder Woman at all.
Well, that was a vote. But the fact that they basically wrote it where the alternative would have been she would have used Thor's hammer to take out Storm.
Mm-hmm.
What? Ron Mars, Peter David, I love you guys, but what were you thinking?
That was a mistake. That was a very big mistake. Wonder Woman does not need Thor's hammer to beat Storm.
Now, to be fair, though, let's be honest, this is also at a point where most people didn't get how to write Wonder Woman.
Well, this is also the point when
in the 90s
was like the top franchise.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, but in general, I don't think they understood how to... This is by the time
Arguably, DC doesn't have a lot of writers that get how to write Wonder Woman.
It still pains me that Jeff Johns is one of those.
Yeah, I know, because everything else he's pretty good at.
Just about every other female characters he's great at. Why is it Diana? He keeps on thinking she's trying to be perfect. She doesn't understand humanity. Where does this come from?
Yeah, see, the problem I'm having is particularly with like Tom King's Wonder Woman, because I'm like, I get what you're going for. Can you write Wonder Woman as less of an automaton?
But it's still better than Becky Cloonan.
It's way better.
Say what you will.
There was some stuff in Cloonrad that I liked, but I didn't like that, like, apparently Clooney wanted to have Diana in a polyamorous relationship with Steve and that dude she met in Asgard. I'm like, what?
Well, at least it's not him with Steve and a girl.
Yeah, but I do like how there was this graphic novel where they made Steve Trevor bi, and I'm like, at least you're doing something with a wholly irrelevant character.
I will say this: I did not mind Steve being paired up with Etta Candy and
that was great. That was great. He doesn't work with Diana. He does not work.
Again, depending on the right. I think Gail doing her in Nemesis, I hate it, especially when it was just done to appease her mother.
I forget. I'm going through the omnibus for Gail Simone Wonder Woman right now, and that is one part where I'm like, oh, this sucks.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Nemesis was not a bad character.
No, but as their love interest for Wonder Woman, I'm like, no.
Now, to be fair, she was playing off of what was given to her beforehand.
But still, it's like, I just don't. Yeah.
I agree. And again, the fact that, it was all done to appease Hippolyta. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Okay, here's a question for you. Favorite version of Hippolyta? Me is always going to be pre-New 52.
I don't like the new 52 one that much.
Because you hardly saw her.
Hardly saw her.
But even then, there wasn't that much characterization to her.
No, I don't like the Rebirth one. I have to go post-Crisis.
Yeah. I mean, Rebirth is a little bit of post-Crisis, but not a lot.
Well, it's like I was reading also a little bit of the Phil Jimenez run, and he fleshed out Hippolyta a lot.
So did Byrne.
It's just everyone from New 52 and on didn't really deal with Hippolyta that much.
Well, to be fair, they were the problem with Hippolyta post-Infinite Crisis.
Yeah.
Post-Infinite Crisis, I think, is when Hippolyta just fell by the wayside.
Exactly.
Especially when Cersei manipulated her to do Amazon's attack. Oh boy, I still gotta remember that bit. Like, points to Abraham Lincoln. Who is this? Who cares? He's a man.
That event, jeez, I have that in trade.
And they
by the
killed
way,
a father and son just because they were men.
I'm like, I get that you don't like men, and everything, but the Amazons, to a degree, have more honor than that.
I think now, maybe you could say it tells you how bad Cersei manipulated them, but I think these are probably just no-name Amazons who have always been the island, who always had this hatred for men.
True, you could try and justify it, but
like if it was any of the named Amazons, no.
You know what's kind of funny? I love how DC is doing an event called Amazon's Attack, and I'm like, are you sure you want to use that at marketing?
Well, to be fair, I think the name title's more done ironically.
Yeah, but still, I'm like, are you sure you want to acknowledge an Amazon's Attack?
I want to say this though. One day we'll get
Sorry? It was that's kind of funny with Tom King. He's acknowledging it happened, and I'm like, okay.
I would say this. At least with Tom King, at least he's doing more with Yara Flora.
Yeah.
Although I'm not a fan of her cursing like a sailor.
Everyone curses in his books. I mean, here's the thing.
Why does it have to be Yara?
Steve Trevor makes sense because he's
a soldier.
He's a soldier.
Yara, when has she ever cursed like that?
Yara, Damien, and Trinity is like, stop it.
Okay, Trinity is his own character.
But it's like if she's cursing in response to Damien, who, as far as we've seen, has not cursed in the comics to this degree. I'm like, stop it.
Well, I think he had cursed when he was future Damien.
But he's not future Damien in this, though. That's my issue.
Maybe he saw that Damien Son of Batman miniseries that Andy Kubert did, because he cursed quite a bit in that one.
But again, this version of Damien doesn't do that.
I agree.
To this degree. If he cursed like once in a while, I'm fine, but it's like word balloon after word balloon, one after the other.
No, I agree. I agree completely with that, but I still say though, King's Wonder Woman is still an interesting one. It's not the worst we've read. It's not Tim Sheridan's Green Lantern.
I have things I like about it. I have things I don't like about it, but so
the artwork is phenomenal.
Well, that's
Daniel Zambier is one of their best artists.
Yes, that's the thing about Tom King's writing. No matter if you hate his writing, he always has the best artists.
Yeah, Penguin's been a great book.
I haven't read Penguin.
Oh, dude, it is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. He understands Penguin damn. It seems like he always has these villains he loves.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does, like, Kite Man. Look what he did for Kite Man.
Hell yeah.
He's the one who made Kite Man relevant.
I love where we were on Nerdette stream, and that one dude that's like anti-Tom King was like really excited for a Kite Man show, and you and I go, you know what? You know who really defined Kite Man, right?
It was Tom King.
It was Tom King. The Kite Man would not be the character he is today. He would not have been in the Harley Quinn show if we're not.
And he denied it.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I got news for you.
Yeah, because it's just, what's next? Condiment King. Oh boy, but like I say, there's one other thing I want to bring up actually, since I have you here. The current argument about that stupid panel.
Oh, good God. All right, so I'll admit I thought it was real up until the point. I brought it up to a friend of mine, to my co-host, because she normally knows if this stuff is real or not. Even she was like, no, that's fake. And I was like, okay. But here's my problem with the whole incident. Even if Chuck Dixon was doing this, can you imagine DC doing that? He didn't communicate. Can you imagine DC doing this?
You gotta get props to Tom Taylor. He was professional.
Tom Taylor blocked me, so I don't get his tweets.
I'll send it to you right now. Hold on.
Probably because EVS follows me, so it's probably like one of those blanket blocks.
Well, he hasn't done it since because I'm still following him. Hold on. Because, yeah, he was very professional.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, it's like you presented it like this is real to the point where people
and then he copy and pasted that stupid reply then.
Yeah, I've never tweeted more times with people saying this is fake, this is fake, this is fake.
I just said, yep.
All right, there you go. Hi, Chuck. That's not the dialogue. Someone's photoshopped Jeff the usual always nonsense, but I want to say thank you. So, okay, you know what? Yeah, that's nice. He said that's not dialogue, but Bobby, thank you for everything you do with Nightwing. I'm like, okay, you know what? That's
and even when he mentioned how they won awards, he's still saying this wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for you.
That's true because Dixon really defined Nightwing as a character, and you know what? Yeah, I appreciate that because I get that.
Normally, Tom Day will be a guy who would lash out,
particularly at someone that's associated with Eric July. But I'm like,
but
okay,
it's Chuck. I think deep down, his inner fanboy got the better of him.
Yeah, to a certain, if this, as long as this doesn't happen again, I don't think like anyone will really attack Chuck. It could
exactly. Armo just put it best. That repeat reply Chuck did drove him nuts. Agreed.
Yeah. It's like, I get that people say, because someone else brought up a tweet about it, was like, yeah, the dialogue's stupid. But it's not necessarily like everyone should be upset that the dialogue, but it should be upset that DC has in some ways created an environment where this is believable.
But that's my argument. It's not to the degree. It's my argument. People are saying it was 100% believable. More like 20% believable.
Well, the thing is, like DC does tend to highlight a lot of these books that have this type of writing and really, really bad writing.
They highlight them for their first issues.
Okay,
not
that's
the
a
later
good point.
issues, which is usually where the bad writing comes in. It's the later issues. Which tells me probably DC didn't even expect that bad writing when they first highlighted it.
Okay.
Hawk Girl, the Tim Sheridan, Alan Scott. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Tim Sheridan was pulled in after his little stunt.
Yeah.
I will not be surprised if he's going to be, if that damaged his career. Not destroyed it, but damaged it.
At DC, I don't think he's going to write DC Comics anymore.
I wouldn't go to that extreme. I think
because remember, what did he write previous to this? Titans Academy, another bomb.
That's true, and this Green Lantern book is not doing that great.
And here's the thing,
Megan Fitzmartin just got relegated to backup, so I think Sheridan might get relegated to backup.
Though, did Megan Fitzmartin make a video saying buy this to own it to Comicsgate?
No.
That's my problem also, is that he put DC in the crosshairs of Comicsgate.
But he does have too much ties with Hollywood. That could be what could protect him. Unlike Megan
saying I'm not saying affecting his general entertainment career. I just think
I'm saying his DC career, because Megan only has much less than Sheridan does. Sheridan's been involved with a lot of big projects. Compared to Megan.
What I could see happening is like him going back to writing TV series and not writing the comics.
Yep, he might come back to comics eventually.
Give it some. Don't ever give him Alan Scott though.
Oh yeah, seriously, he basically seen a Grace Iceman him.
Arguably, it's worse what Bendis did with Iceman, but I see what you're saying.
No, I said Cena Grace, not Bendis.
Oh, okay. See, I might read that one.
And again, this completely derails what Tynion did. Tynion did such a good job doing this with Alan. He basically said Alan's acknowledging it in the present. He had been denying it for so long. Yes, Tynion kind of downplayed his past love interest, but not that badly.
Yeah, it's really.
Whereas this makes no sense for it to be like, oh, he was basically like, this is more of a continuity headache. Because what is he going to say? All those women he was with and having Obsidian Jade were his beards? Is that what Sheridan's trying to say? They were his beards and he never really cared about any of them? That would make him a hypocrite then for how he treated Obsidian.
Yeah.
At least having it be what Tynion did, which was he denied it for so long, could still explain how he treated Obsidian all those years. He was denying it. You know what I mean? And
that's better.
And it gave more stuff to it, because like he was upset Obsidian because Obsidian embraced it, something that he always was conflicted about, that he didn't even realize he was conflicted about.
Yeah, but the other thing but it's like, at least he didn't have like Tim Sheridan, Alan Scott picking up gay prostitutes at the docks.
Hey, Tavia.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, but
It was very annoying.
it was. But again, the thing was that panel still. Like I said, it's about 20. I would say it's a 25% believability because that's about the amount of books that you could see this type of writing in.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that?
A little bit, I would say, maybe.
Yeah, like because when you see about Fire and Ice, Hawk Girls, thank God that's over with. Alan Scott, Green Lantern, and backup stories and anthology.
Let me ask you
stories.
something. So Hawk Girl's done, right?
Yes.
Did they try and make Hawk Girl bi?
No.
Okay.
As far as I saw, no, they did not. They implied it, but even then, I think more than anyone else, they know they can't change her because it's locked in.
It's literally the character. You can't do that.
Now they went with Shiera, so.
If they had gone with Shiera,
or no, Kendra, Kendra, I meant.
Yeah, it's like you can't do that because either way, people associate Hawk Girl with or Hawk Woman with Hawkman. You can't change that.
But I'm saying I gave you 5 things though where you can find it believable out of a whole bunch more main books.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people keep bringing up that Tim Drake and Jay stuff. It's like even the dialogue in there wasn't this cringy. Because I keep saying this, look at the dialogue, replace Jay with a female character. Dialogue still would have been applicable.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, the bathtub, Jay in the bathtub and all that. I'm saying that, but again, change Jay's gender.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been cringe dialogue, but it still applied. That's one thing Dan Parent's good at, is writing stuff that still matches either gender.
The thing, I just really don't like the way Nicole Maines writes John. I just don't like it.
But it was Dan Parent who wrote him.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying it in the backups too for like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. With the bathtub stuff, I just skipped it because I'm like, I'm not.
But again, no, but people treat it like this was the main story. It's like it not.
It wasn't.
All right, guys, we gotta start wrapping up though. So thank you for coming on, Jared. Love to have you on again. I like just doing the shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm down for that. Let's do it.
Yep. Okay, so thank you all for joining in. We'll catch you guys all in the next one. Take care.